Hi, thanks for watching this video on seminar engagement. This has been addressed in bits in some of the other videos, but I thought I would speak about it directly as well. We read things, I have you think about them, I have you take notes on them, I have you bring all that stuff to class, and you're ready to talk about it during a seminar. A seminar is facilitated by one of the groups, and that's where both in smaller groups and as individuals you are asked to express your ideas about the readings and the texts, and also to share your analysis of what that means, what the ideas in the texts mean to you in terms of applicability to teaching in early childhood education or primary education or whatever it might be, or if it's a unit on policy analysis. So you're meant to come to do that. And so this is what we do too. We have lists of who's in the unit, and we've shared those with you. You've seen them operating in class already, I'm sure. We have lists of the students who are in that unit. We have little name things that go with each student, and one or two members of the facilitation group, and then myself as well, or the tutorial leader, if it's someone other than myself, keeps track of who's sharing. and you're meant to be sharing, and that counts toward your participation grade. So that's really important. You know, bring these things. We look to see who's got a laptop or an iPad with the PDF on it. We look to see who's printed up and brought the hard copy and if they've marked it up or not. Or some students take thorough notes, sometimes using the textual heuristic that we've produced, or on their own they take lengthy notes and they bring those notes. Students who turn up with nothing, we're like, jinkies, it's a clue, Scooby. You know, like maybe they're not doing their work, which is fine. You're welcome to do or not do any of the assignments in this unit. You know, free will, that's a wonderful thing. But if you don't, you know, you won't get the mark for it, right? Oops. So come ready, bring all your stuff, come ready to rock and roll. Some units have seminars, you know, a few seminars spread throughout. Some units have seminars every week, right? Some units have you read specific texts and articles in our areas of expertise. Sometimes we have you watch films or find other sort of, or interact with other cultural artifacts, pictures and pieces of art, pieces of music that we also treat as a text. But anyway, when it's time for a seminar and it's time for you to share, you know, we expect that you'll share, right? And so that's how that works. And in the next bit of this video, I'll share some other thoughts, including, you know, what it means to share and whatnot, and how we quantify that, how we mark that down, because we are meant to evaluate what you're doing and not doing. I'll address that, and also about being absent, all right? All right, well, how do we, as your tutorial leaders, sure I'm okay here, how do we as your tutorial leaders and how do the members of the facilitation group keep track of who's sharing? Well, like I said in the previous segment, we have a list of students' names. Your names are before you. Often there's at least 4 or 5 Jesses and 3 or 4 other, you know, some names are similar. And so, especially in the abbreviated form, so make sure we can see your name on the front or back of your name thingy. Make sure you have your name thingy, which we ask you to leave with us versus taking home. And then we use that to keep track, and we wander around, and we have a thing, and we say who shares. But how about the quality of sharing, right? So say we're talking about an article that has to do with teaching controversial issues in primary school. That's the article that we've had you read it, and that's what we're meant to talk about, and you've read it, and this and that. And then the facilitation is underway, and one of the facilitators says, well, Mark, what do you think about what do you think the main point was of this reading? And how would you apply that idea from the author in your primary classroom? And I say, the question has to do with teaching controversial issues? I'll raise my hand. Oh, me? My thought is, coffee is delicious. Well, I've shared, but I haven't shared about the reading, right? So that would probably be like a check minus, you know. Or Mark, what do you think? Well, I think that I liked how the author spoke about teaching controversial subjects, and I found it interesting. Okay, well, that's something, right? That's better. Maybe that's a check. Or you call him Mark, me? And Mark raises his hand and you say, hey, Mark, what did you think? Well, I like the way the author dealt with how to teach controversial topics, how she gave us 4 specific ways to do that. And in my classroom, the way that I would handle it would be this way in my future classroom. My favorite quote was so-and-so. It's like, ooh, so if someone does a really good job, it's a check plus. We have a ranking system of sorts. So, check minus, check plus. Additionally and finally, if you're not there that day, you can't get nothing. You can't get participation credit. So it's 0 on the list, right? And deciding not to come. I know the university has a very odd policy about not being there against students. And that's fine, we honor that, but we do build in participation. If you're not there, you can't get participation credit. And being on vacation or skipping for some other reason, that doesn't count. You don't get participation, so that will affect your participation grade. If something legitimate happens, illnesses happen, family emergencies happen, maybe you're being asked to be on you're on a placement during the 3 weeks that you're meant to be or whatever it is, and that's when you do your placement, not on other times. That's when you do your placement. But sometimes the school will say something like, oh, by the way, you're also coming with us for the whole week before because we're going camping, and you say, well, I can't, I have classes, and then sometimes that won't work out and you have to go. So provide documentation of that, or of being sick or whatever it might be, a legitimate thing, not an overseas vacation you planned 2 months ago. You shouldn't plan overseas vacations during your classes. I mean, you can, that's fine, but that means you won't be there and you won't get participation for it. But if something legit comes up, provide evidence for us, talk to us ahead of time, ahead of when you're going to miss, and maybe we can turn that verbal participation into a written assignment that can count for you not being there. So speak to your individual tutor about that. But that's how participation works. Look, we have stuff we want to share with you. We want you to give it a think, try to apply it, and share with us that you're doing that. And doing it in person and seminar facilitation is one way to do that, and you have to be there for that. And that's how that works. So I hope that helps. That's one of our favorite parts of the whole unit, is hearing what you have to say and interacting with one another. It's usually very rich and very helpful. You share with each other ideas that students usually find very helpful and rewarding in terms of what they can take with them into the classroom. So we love those opportunities, and we're sure that you will do well. Here's the fun fine print stuff at the end. This video is intended for students that are taking my units or classes. This is for supplementary informational purposes only. In any instance where what is said here conflicts with a unit guide, a study guide, a unit rubric, or university or faculty guidelines, they hold sway. Next, after watching this video, if you have remaining questions, set up a time to meet with me during office hours. I'd be glad to talk to you, to meet in person, by phone, or by Skype. But please read all the relevant course information first. Next, this video is produced independently from any institution and is protected under a Creative Commons copyright. Watch it, use it, enjoy it, or ignore it. Just don't change it or sell it. All right, that's the end of the fine print. Thanks.